All right, we've got some fun things to go over today. Whew, lot to actually go over today. We got Windows Utility, security review, failure of Copilot, some other garbage that is in the know-how, and oh god, was it headless M1 Mac server? We might get to that. I don't know. I'm looking up here at my little rack I have on the wall, and I'm like, I don't. There's a lot I need to do there. Looking at this, I'm like, that looks so janky. I think I need to take it and then move it to somewhere else, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. So Windows Utility, we'll get through some Windows Utility pull requests today. I think there's like 15 or so. I've already kind of curated and kind of went through each one and got the good ones. Like some of the nonsense like dependent bot updates and little crap, I'm like, do that later. Then security review. I actually got contacted by, I don't know, some security researching company. And they said, hey, you have a big repo on GitHub, which WinUtil is. There's an exploit. There's a vulnerability on it. I'm like, really? Okay, let's see. So then, of course, before replying, I was like, all right, let's see what they got. And they sent in all the information. And then I tested it. I was like, well, damn. All right. Yeah, they were right on that one. That is a little bit of an exploit. So... So I had to do a patch on that. So I had a 0 day. I was like, hey, it's been a little bit. It wasn't like anything too terrible. Nothing ever happened from it, but it could have been bad. So I'll go over that. And let's see. I paid for your Windows Utility, but it hasn't worked for about a month now. What's wrong with it? It's the day. Pray tell why we got everybody filling into chat here. What is the error that you run into? Because I often get people to say, it don't work. I know this is kind of shocking to some users, but I kind of need to know what the error message is, and then I can actually help. I click on the icon, and then it just closes. Can't tell me more than that? Maybe right click, run as admin? That might help you. Usually there's an error message accompanying something other than it just doesn't open, or it just opens and closes immediately. The other thing that could happen... No, on the offline utility. Wait. How long is the executable? Maybe you're on one of the original executable downloads. The old ones. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, the old ones used online only connection, like the very, very first executable. So if you bought that like 2 years ago, those would open and close. But the new ones, man, if you haven't downloaded it, go to cttstore.com, click the little guy icon on the top right, use the email address that you used to pay for it, and then download the new one. The new one will work completely offline. It sounds like an internet connectivity issue, whether it's a VPN or a gateway blocking GitHub. Parts of India also don't like any kind of GitHub traffic for some odd reason. I don't know why. And sometimes it would block that. It sounds like an internet connectivity issue there, not allowing it to launch, but the new version can completely launch offline. So it wouldn't matter. Anywho, yeah, it sounds something like that. So yeah, we got the Windows Utility stuff. We'll go through. Actually, I found some funny AI clips on Twitter of all things. It's kind of great. Like these corporate CEOs go to like colleges and they're preaching to how great AI and how AI is going to take over every profession and it's going to be implemented in all of them. And they literally get booed off stage during a commencement speech. that was pretty funny. I gotta show that on stream. I just loved it to death. I was like, oh boy, they are so tone deaf. AI is so great. You guys are so great, you're not even going to need to work. You're not going to be able to get a job. So, I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but it was pretty funny. Yeah. What else we got? Win one shot. No progress there. I still have till the 31st. No, but we're not going to be working on that today. Are you an AI? Maybe. Yeah. 40 stream streak. Dang. Gabby's putting in the work. So yeah, we'll do that and then maybe get to, it's been a while, but I gotta show this. The old M1 Mac Mini. I've been thinking about what I'm gonna do with it, as I like to repurpose all my hardware, and I think I'm going to repurpose that into a Plex server because the M1 transcoding would be pretty on point. So I think I'm going to put that in my rack and load up the old M1 like a headless install, just running Plex server. I think that would be pretty easy. If I had to start over, I probably would do Jellyfin, but I've been on Plex forever. I've been a lifetime member for 15 years. So I was just like, because I remember doing Windows Media Server way back in the day. If you guys remember Windows Media Server, and God, that managing just like the metadata and getting it all in for a home theater setup was such a pain. The pre-Plex days was awful. And then Jellyfin came and it's open source. So I probably would recommend Jellyfin, but I've just been on Plex and I don't want to migrate my whole library over. So I'm just like, maybe. So anyways, I got that. And then the other project that I'm working on, which is another good one. My head. No. All right. So I had this, and this is an old throwaway. My boss, when he shut down my old boss, when he shut down his company, I used to be one of his engineers for PBX. So he had a lot of government contracts for different things. And he said, hey, do you need any of this old hardware? I'm going to throw it out. And I was like, I will take a couple of those old PBXs. So I grabbed the best of the best. But this is like a 10-year-old, I think it's an i5, but it's like 3rd gen. So it just is not power efficient at all. However, the case, the power supply, probably still pretty good. So I'm going to rip out the motherboard, maybe replace it with like an N100 or an N305 baked in ITX board. Switch that out, and then I'll probably put Proxmox, and I'm just going to throw that over there. So I'm probably going to do a video on that. I wanted to get back into the home lab type stuff, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to repurpose this. I just got to find, I think I was looking, I might even go older, just so I could repurpose some old DDR4 SODIMM memory, because memory is just ungodly expensive. I looked it up, I was like, oh my God. 32 gigs is like $300. I was like, God, that's insane. Anyways, preaching the choir here. Let's get on the desktop. I just wanted to kind of do a broad overview before we start of everything kind of got bouncing around here. Orange Pie's around here somewhere. Win one shot. We'll probably do that another day. And, OBS and streaming. I did a bunch of stuff yesterday. Probably should have done a video, but I didn't. And I want to show that too. Oh, shoot. We also got to shoot a video today, too. Copilot, I think. Is the video. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, so we've been working on this a little bit. Gabby, 40 stream street. That's awesome. And Tails, 3 stream. Oh, Tails, you're slacking. So yeah, I've been kind of building this out. I did some tests as well. Oh yes, thank you for the 1 month resub as well. But yeah.
Overall, pretty good. Yeah, 300 sounds cheap this day and age. Eesh. I don't know. I'm cheap though. I kind of want to repurpose whatever I can and minimize any kind of e-waste is the idea. Although like the Persona stuff and some of my old audio equipment's gonna probably fill up a landfill somewhere. Sad to say, it just did not work out. My mother used to do DOCP and it no longer wants to post or boot with the setting on. So I know this is kind of a hot take, but when it comes to memory, I have been burned so many times by non-ECC memory to where I'm almost like any main machine I have, I would prefer ECC and it's worth the extra money to me. I would rather have a bare bones, like just industrial motherboard with no RGB, no flare, but support ECC with a proper processor support. So most processors don't support ECC, by the way, but you can find ones that do, and just have ECC. It makes such a difference having ECC memory. And I just, if I can avoid non-ECC, I will at all costs, especially for like business, like any kind of server, mandatory ECC. And that's just from me doing this for over 2 decades. I can tell you right now, you'd be shocked at how many problems I've encountered that were just memory issues, and they're so hard to troubleshoot because they're just not very evident until they are. So ECC memory is huge, and RAM is ungodly expensive. Holy crap. ECC or not, it's expensive. But yeah. As far as like overclocking profiles and all that, I really do not care. I am not a performance guy. Like, give me stability and reliability any day of the week. You can take 10, 20% of my performance. I just want that shit to work for 5+ years. And as long as it's working for 5+ years, I don't care about a couple percentage points of performance. So as far as overclocking memory and overclocking CPUs, you either have to be rich or a special kind of stupid to do it in 2026. I know that's gonna make some people mad, but it's facts. Like, overclocking systems in 2026, oh, you definitely just gotta be dumb as a box of rocks to do that, unless you have just lots of money laying around, because you're just reducing the life of whatever it is you're overclocking, whether it's a GPU, CPU, memory. Like, it's just not worth it. Just put it at the base clock and live with what you got. Optimize the software. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people look overclock, but then like just leave the software and have a whole bunch of crap running, costing themselves way more performance than the overclock would have given them anyways. So yeah, honestly, underclocking is the way. Yeah, I think that's the thing about 2026 is underclocking to get longer longevity out of both your GPUs and your CPUs. Although reseeding with proper thermal paste and that type of thing I'd say every 4 to 5 years, I typically do it on all my systems. As soon as I start to see them, the fans start to ramp up, whether it's the GPU or the CPU, I usually go, okay, it's been 3+ years. It's time to pull that heatsink off, scrape off the old stuff, alcohol wipe, and then throw some new paste on, which I think what do we have here? Arctic. Anyways, yeah, throw some new paste on and then slap it back in. It's good for another 3 to 5 years. Anyways, that's just my thought. What's currently the best local LLM for coding up to 22, 23 gigabytes? Probably like Gemma 4 with like Quant 5 maybe. and then that'll probably get you the best CZ. It's still gonna suck compared to the hosted stuff, but it's not bad. Yeah, DDR4 RAM prices are crazy too. Yeah, I noticed that too. Why do I see that green piece of crap on your event tab? Oh, that was Claude. Let's fix that. I agree. I don't stream to Kick. Does anybody actually use Kick? I haven't heard of that name in a while. Where are we at? Where are we at? Control Shift I. All right. Let's go local storage, and I'll take that off. 1 second. 1 second. All right. Now, can I delete that property is the question. Oh, Provigen does stream on K. Okay. Is he still streaming on Twitter as well? Oh man, what was that? Here we go. Yeah, there we are. Okay, cool. Okay. Let me get this, and we should be good. Uno momento. Bam. There we go. And reload. Bam. I also got a notify bridge, so if I'm on another tab and someone does something, it'll pop up and notify me in the top right corner. So I have a built-in web server that's constantly monitoring as well. So I was like, that'd be cool. So I'm working on that a little bit more on my off hours. I have a lot of fun with the streaming as well. Oh yeah, 50K is on Twitch. All right, well, someone's watching. Yeah, to me, I'm just like, I don't want to do any more. I don't want to do any more platforms. I'm like, doing just Twitch and YouTube, or yeah, Twitch and YouTube alone is enough for me. Although it wouldn't be that bad to probably do another stream, but maybe in the future. All right. Speaking of Primogen, while we're here, he was the one that I found this on. This is the Google CEO tries to tell university students to love AI. It's only 1:30, but I thought it was pretty funny.
December, Time magazine selected its Person of the Year for 2025. And this time, it was the architects of artificial intelligence. Interesting. It will touch every profession, every classroom, every hospital, every laboratory, every person, and every relationship you have. I know what many of you are feeling about that. I can hear you. There is a fear. We do not know the precise contours of what this transformation will look like. Choose a diversity of perspectives, including, let me add, and if you'd let me make this point, please.
What a jackass.
If you don't care about science, that's okay, because AI is going to touch everything else as well. Whatever path you choose, AI will become part of how work is done. If you have a problem in the world you want to solve, you can now assemble a team of AI agents to help you with the parts that you could never accomplish on your own. Let me give you some advice. First, find a way to say yes. And thank you very much and good night.
Dude, the college people were just completely revolting. If I were him, hopefully he has a security detail. Something might happen to him on the way to his car. I'm just saying, I would not go to a university and then be like, AI is going to take over everything. Every single job's going to have AI. You guys just need to get excited about. Find a way to say yes to having your job completely replaced by AI so I can get another boat. I mean, I don't know how tone deaf you can be, but that's pretty rough. That's a bad one. And there was another one too. I think it was in here, or maybe it was a back. Oh yeah, this one too.
Now that said, we are living in a time of profound change. That's an understatement, right? Profound change. Change is exciting, very exciting, and let's face it, change can be daunting. The rise of artificial intelligence is the next industrial revolution. Oh, whoa. What happened? Okay, I struck a chord. May I finish?
I don't know. I don't know where this speech is going. They might start throwing tomatoes at you.
Only a few years ago, AI was not a factor in our lives. Okay. All right. Okay. We've got a bipolar topic here, I see. Okay. And now AI capabilities are in the palm of our hands. And oh, I love it. Passion, let's go. Okay.
She's like, uh-oh, I don't want to finish my speech now.
AI is beginning to challenge all major sectors to find their highest and best use.
Oh. I saw that. I was like, dang. Cashy is overrated? What, Fluffy? What are you talking about? Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the AI stuff is, like I said, like my personal take on it is I use AI a good bit. Like the agents are fine for certain tasks, but it's just like another tool. Think of like when I would equate AI to like when VS Code hit the scene, or AI to when you had like really real-time linting and you didn't have to compile every time. It was a good application of a tool, and that's what AI is. I think it's a good assistant, and it can be fun for like workshopping or brainstorming because you get a lot of different things. But they're making it seem like it's this industrial revolution or everything's going to change because of it, and I just don't see it, man. Like, I totally get that a lot of people are going to lose their jobs because it will make some people more efficient, but it's just not, like, I would say 90 to 95% of the population is just not really going to be able to use it to any meaningful context to where it's going to change their life, other than they might lose their job. And that's terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. So it does make you dumber. I think a lot of people are overly reliant on it, for sure. I also do worry about the slippery slope of AI once you get dependent on it. Think of like a drug addict or a drug dealer that gives you enough to where you get hooked, and then all of a sudden the price is no longer $5, it's $50. I think that's also going to play into it as well. So when you're overly reliant on these agents and your entire workflow is hinging on like Claude code, and all of a sudden the price 10x's, and you can't do work without it, I mean, you're toast. Like you pretty much have to pay it because you just don't know how to work without it. So I would be very, very careful not to be overly reliant on it. I still like using it and exploring. It's fun, but I don't have any point in my workflow to where if it disappeared, I couldn't do that thing. So that's the big thing I would say about it is use it while it's free, or you can use a really low powered plan. It doesn't cost you much money. That's cool. But as soon as it starts costing more, try to ditch it or maybe go local for some assistance. And I think that's kind of where I'm sitting in that thing. So kind of square in the middle, but it's fine as a tool, but it's not what people say it is. You haven't read my reply. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. Let me grab it, Fluffy. Let's see. What do we got? Oh yeah. DHH put this out. Yeah, like this doesn't say jack shit. It's essentially the same. They're both running off of Arch. I think Omarchi's using the cache kernel anyways, so it's essentially comparing itself to itself. It's like the same picture. The one thing I would see here is what are the 1% lows? Like you have to have the 1% lows. Yeah, let's see. Some like people mention this. Stop comparing cache in cases where it has no such impact. Comparison the video with a 1060 Ti and a 7945. Wait, what? That was in the same machine? All these benchmarks can be dumped in the trash since every of these games are GPU dependent. The only game that gave impact is Doom since the code is CPU dependent. Yeah. All these people can't understand that cache boosts work only in CPU-related cases. So in cases where bottlenecks or some old hardware, you won't see much of a difference between distros and kernels. Yeah, I would say probably you might see a difference specifically with different Proton versions. I think would be a better way. I know some Proton versions do have optimizations in them, but yeah, difference between kernels, not so much. I agree with that. And where the hell are my 1% lows? Like, here's the thing. I've seen plenty of distros in Linux where I've gotten decent or even better FPS, but the FPS is negated by other things running on the system or bad optimizations on that distro that cause 1% lows to drop drastically. So that's why I made that one video, and I was hoping, I think enough content creators probably saw that video about the Linux benchmarks and how to get 1% lows that hopefully people will start to do that to where you can benchmark different distros a little bit just to make sure that the inefficient gaming distros get called out by the 1% lows, because it would show stuttering in those 0.1 and the 1%. Anyways. Yeah. Yeah, so 1%. 1% lows, did I stutter? Pretty much. So yeah, and it would be pretty telling in some distros. Is what happens. Like the thing with the Omarchi is it's very opinionated, which means bloated. And with that bloat, you probably will get more 1% lows than something that's more bare bones, like a stock cache. Anyhow, fun. Miss anything else, guys? What else we got? Does cache have the best kernel optimizations? I mean, most people copy cache kernel optimizations. Hell, Bazite runs mostly off of cache kernels with some modifications. But for the most part. Some people don't like that I removed the override feature in the PowerShell profile. Oh, I didn't even realize that got taken out. I remember we added that in a while back. Probably need to add that back in. But yeah. Oh, you didn't see my GitHub in the chat. My DWM. Well, let's see what your DWM is. Everybody has a different DWM. It's kind of fun. What are you doing with yours? Patches, vanity gaps, gross. Perf tag, normal, move stack, attach, swallow, warp, auto start. Yeah, so like I actually used to do the auto start patch, but I removed it mainly so I could just do auto start through XDG. So I really like XDG auto start, so you can just go .config/auto start and just drop desktop files. You can also use something, I need to do a video on this too. It's called Ignition. Okay, help if you could spell. That's an ugly wallpaper. Anyways. So Ignition's kind of a cool little flat pack tool. It works on every distro. And it will go through and load all the different startup entries no matter what Linux you're on. And then from that, you could actually sit there and modify what you need. While that loads, let's just... Oh, I already got this up and going. Okay, well, how about that? Does that still work? Okay, good. Huh. Well, I say it. So I'm using this. Oh, Sentinel auto start, we can delete. Set refresh, synergy, desktop.
The dude abides.
Just me. Thank you, good sir, for the super chat and the coffee. You fueled me for almost this entire month. Hey, dude, I'm digging these little notifications. I hooked up my my socials into my Dunst, so I have a server that runs in the background. Anyway, great piece of software, Ignition. Obviously fantastic, but I did something to it. I gotta probably troubleshoot that. All right, restart SIG, scratchpad, cycle layout, save floats. Oh, I probably need to look at save floats patch. Status all mons. EWMH. Yeah, I did my own custom EWMH tags. I think you have to do that. I really hate it when people do polling for tags or updates when it's like done every second. It's just wasted CPU cycles, so using EWMH is super important. Systray, it's cool. You're not even using polybar or anything else for your bar, and then IPC for just signals. I like it. Like it. Solid. DWM. All right. Now, I know I broke it. Imagine that. I probably just uninstall, reinstall, see how it goes. Have you been into how AME Wizard injects playbooks into ISOs? Anything good in there to take away or inspired from? I don't know, man. AME, ameliorated Windows is what people have been calling it from a while back in the playbooks. It's cool, but the source is not fully open source. It says it's an open source project, but that's only the CLI that's open source. So it's not something I want to cover. If something pretends to be open source, but it's not fully open source, and they're modifying Windows system stuff, I just can't get behind that, man. I just can't cover it. It's just dangerous because something could easily be slipped into that workflow and no one would know. So any kind of ameliorated or AME Wizard, I just won't cover. So Atlas, Revi, a multitude of other different Windows distros, if you will, I just don't cover. I say use the stock. use the stock ISO creator. Rufus now has a minimal Windows ISO creator. There's the one baked into Windows Utility, which is just WinUtil. And the other fully open source one is Tiny11 Builder on GitHub. So all those are completely open source. All the code's out for everyone to see. And I think if you're not using official Microsoft tooling and you haven't seen it all, that's what you should use. NT Lite is great. It's been around for 20 years. Also a good project, but you got to pay for it. So that's the only thing I would ever use to create a custom Windows ISO. I think anything else, you're just asking for trouble down the road. And it's not something I would ever recommend, nor will I ever cover on the channel. I know I covered Atlas for a little bit when I hit the scene, and I said I'd look back on it. I checked it like a couple weeks ago, actually, and it was still the same, in the same state. Not fully open source, still using these playbooks with lockdown passwords and other, it's just not well structured, and it's not something I would ever tell anyone to get and do. It's just stupid, especially with the state of things where you have plenty of other tools that are fully open source that work great that you should use. So that's where I'm kind of like, I just don't want to talk about it. It's not something that I think you should use. Like, use Tiny11, use NT Lite, use a Rufus, use my tool if you want. Those are all open source for the most part, except NT Lite, and you should use those. That's kind of my stance. I probably could do a video on it, but I don't like negative videos, and I don't think I'd have anything extra to say because nothing really has changed with those. So if I can't give some kind of positive feedback or some kind of addition to what I'm seeing, I don't typically make a video on it. Just my thoughts. All right, let's get into WinUtil. Speaking of which, let's do some pull requests on WinUtil. What was this? What did I say? We kind of went back and forth on this PR. Yeah, I think I wanted to just close out the PR. I guess you're just adding the name variable here, but also removing some of the else statements if it's not installed. I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of it. I do like the change from do to enable. That makes more sense. And for the name, where's that being declared? Oh, right here. Yeah, so name's being declared. GUID is declared here. You also are missing, if not there. Oh, here you go. You did add that. Duplicate scheme failed. Yeah, I mean, it's just not a very... There's not much to add to this PR. I'm closing it out. Not a big fan. All right, let's move on to the next one. Did you finally pay the $60 for Brave Origin? Nope. No, I did not. I just went and kept rocking the old Linux version here. And the Brave debloat works great. Like, I expanded the Brave debloat in Windows Utility, so it brings it close enough to Brave Origin to where I'm like, yeah, this is fine. So as far as Brave Origin for Windows and Mac, maybe if I used it a bunch, I would probably buy it, but I'm rarely on Windows and Mac as a main system where I'm not just messing around. So I really just don't really do that. All right, what do we got here? Cleanup, invoke, WinUtil, install, fix typos. I like it. Yeah, this was kind of a mess. Sync features. What was the script lock doing here? Huh. Yeah, it's much more succinct. Oh, gotta love those try catches. All right. No, that's good. That's a lot better. When we're calling the invoke WPF UI thread function, one thing I kind of wanted to look at was when we do that, we need to look at what that does. All right, let's close all there. Let's grab the latest. What about French people? Yeah, I need to do some kind of localization, but I think we've kind of like put localization on the back burner. I think that's got to be like an offline executable at this point. There's just so much. When you localize, it's just going to be problematic to pull in all these language packs. Unless we could do like a dynamic download of a language pack. But I don't want to distribute a crap ton of language packs on a download, because you got to remember it's a script after all. Bigger scripts, not so good. So it'd have to be like a dynamic download of a language pack at runtime. ETA on the DaVinci video. Next week, probably. Yeah. 12 days left on Win One Shot, man. I do like me a deadline, though. I do like me a deadline. Anyhow. I wanted to look at that invoke WPF UI thread. WPF UI thread creates a task using WinUtil's WPF forms thread. It seems like a lot of bloat, because why wouldn't you just call the sync form dispatcher invoke right here? Why would you need to make this an entire function? I would probably just say, unless I'm missing something. But yeah, that seems like just extra bloat for a function where it's just one line, essentially. It looks cleaner as a function, and it has error checks. Okay, well, fair enough. If we're using it, that's fine. I was just wondering what it was used for. But if it creates a task, I just wanted to see. Anyways, we're looking good. Let's approve this. Merge. Let's do a compile test after these PRs as well. Oh, really? We had an error on the logout. Did we screw up something with the PowerShell profile? Nah, that's fine. All right, make sure we're up to date. Let's do a compile. Everything looks good there. Let's do a run. I think it auto-updated the profile. We can check after this. Yeah, it looks fine. Gravy. One of the big things we did was features. Let's install a feature. Let's go there. Do I have WSL on here? Probably not. Let's do legacy inputs too. Make sure this works. What was the bug in the game mode PR? I have slept since then, so I'm not sure. Yeah. Greetings from Dublin. Ah, thanks, man. Yeah, there was a lot of bloat on the old PowerShell profile. It is better. Made an ST terminal. Nice. Old ST. You know, I never really dove into ST very much. That does look like that worked good. Gravy. Let's continue. Heck, let's just pull the PRs from here. All right, what are we doing now? Delete unused functions. Well, that's pretty straightforward. All right, let's squash and merge. Compile, run. Oh, I didn't even pull it before the run. Actually, I'm gonna leave that running in the background. Close out of the PS profile in VS Code. It's fine. I'm just going to leave this one open and then just tab over. We're fine. All right, simplify, compile. I remember us looking at the simplify, compile, and I was kind of for it. I even mentioned it. The initial idea was to clean up and standardize the code, but yeah, it doesn't, like, maybe adds like spaces and other crap. Yeah, it wasn't me that actually did the compile. That was another contributor. So I won't take credit for that bad code. But essentially we'll clean up. You can see all the deletion of pre-processing, and then the compile itself is now just going to be this. Was there anything in here I wanted to do? Yeah, I think we're good. We can try that. Probably my only consideration where I was like, ooh. Did you test this? I have to ask. Sometimes Gabby just cowboys it. Love you to death, but sometimes you do. Of course I tested it. I only ask. I'm looking to see where these XAML files are added. You grab input XAML, and then you add. Oh, that's a pretty way of doing it. All right, all right, all right. All right. I already approved this, so we can just merge. Squash and merge. Not just merge. We don't want one of those. All right, on to the next. Add WPF disable BitLocker to tweaks. Did we not have a disable BitLocker? I thought we did. Maybe not. Maybe I'm misremembering. Yeah, most people should disable BitLocker. Totally agree. It's kind of crazy that a lot of laptops just auto-enable it and then encrypt the entire drive. One of my most viewed videos on my channel is actually me telling people how to log into Microsoft.com to grab their BitLocker recovery key. I swear that video has like 1 million something views now. Yeah. Sweet. Pretty straightforward. I like it. We had a disabled BitLocker in MicroIn. Your memory is somewhat on point. Fair. All right, well, let's add that back in. People are probably going to want to do that. Well, let's check refactor. Secure literal search and defensive scope handling. Really? All right. The pull request addresses 2 critical security and stability issues found in the search functionality in both install and tweaks tabs. App search, wildcard injection, and scope handling. Okay. Implement literal search using index of, handling the sync. Okay. Sounds good. Tweak search hardening, PS 5.1 compatibility. All right, the tweak suffered from some wildcard injection vulnerability. Additionally, certain modern PowerShell syntax ternary operators cause syntax errors on Windows. PowerShell 5.1 replaced all dash-like operators with safe literal matching. Okay. I don't know if I'd call it critical. I would say, hey, this is an optimization. But potato. It's all good, you know? Yeah. Critical. Anyways. Standardize the code to be fully compatible with PowerShell 5. Probably a good idea. Add verbose null checks for the tweaks panel and child elements to prevent race condition crashes. Yeah, we do get that every once in a while. If you run WinUtil over and over and over on the same terminal, it will eventually crash. Most people just run it once and then close it out, so it's not really that big of a deal, but still. I like the screenshots. Look at that. Really? People are doing that? Okay. Let's look at the code. How many lines is this? Oh, you know, I wish. I hate it when people do this. Stop using Prettier. Holy shit. How many times do I have to say when you're doing a pull request on someone else's repo, don't use Prettier. It's a fucking terrible extension. Oh my god. Ah. I know, I have Prettier installed. I can use it. It's my repo. Not your repo, it's my repo. Do I have Prettier installed, by the way? God, that would be funny. Gremlins Tracker. This is a great plugin. Gremlins Tracker is hilarious. Some people just want to watch the world burn, so they'll do like special characters, like a special space character that'll cause compiler issues. And Gremlin Track, someone did this to me once. I forget if they did it on purpose or if they were just, again, just want to watch the world burn. But they added a special character in one of my repos, and I could not find the error for the life of me. And then I found this Gremlins Tracker, and it said, hey, install this extension. Then it showed the special character that was hidden. Pretty hilarious. Pretty hilarious. I don't know what you're talking about. I never had Prettier installed. Anywho. All right. This looks fine, I guess. There's really not that many changes. It's just, again, certain like tabs and other indentions got changed. So it looks like a nuke the world on some of these. It does have all these null catches. What was the other change here? All right. More null catches. Hey, your favorite, try catch. What else we got? It's a little bit bloated for Gabby's liking, but it's actually pretty good. Let's try it out. I'm going to check it out first. I'm not going to just do a bland merge because I think this is his first PR too. Who is it? MHD. All right. Let's check it out. I know Gabby's over like, it's bloated. It's bloated, I swear. Love it. Love it. Hey, this year, the entire objective was to reduce the overall size of WinUtil. Not a strong start. Not a strong start to this, I gotta tell you. Oh, yeah, that was funny. That was funny. Nah, it's fine. It's fine. Looks like they didn't. No. That was, it happens when you do multiple runs. Something with PowerShell run spaces, when you have multiple run spaces and you queue them up over and over in the same terminal, it crashes. I'm going to just chalk it up to like run space is essentially black magic made by Microsoft that shouldn't work but does work. And, you know, if it crashes like every 10 runs in the same terminal, I'm okay with it. All right, let's go install Chrome. Oh, nice. Okay, we got caps. No longer crashes on special characters. Look at that. Wow. All right. Let's see if it screwed something up, though. Let's install something. Probably Flux, because I always like installing Flux and then uninstalling Flux. Yeah, run spaces is just awful. I agree. But what you gonna do, man, you know? Run spaces is for... If you want a functional UI, you have to do run spaces when launching it from the terminal. So... I guess you could do like start process and open it up. It just gets kind of messy. Run spaces can be good. I think we overused them a bit though. It seemed to work just fine. Let's just do some standard tweaks. Need to update the standard tweaks here. Just do that, see what we got. Oh, I should have disabled disk cleanup as well. Yeah, I think Flux is using Google Form. Yeah, they're a bit messier, I do agree. It's much cleaner to do like a start process. But if you're doing something with the UI that was built using terminal, you pretty much have to do a run space to make it still functional. Otherwise, you get a bunch of lockups. You should have seen the original code, Gabby. If you go back 4 years, it was 2022. So this is pre-LLM. And God, I hacked together. It was such a Frankenstein project, the first iteration of it. I hacked together something because at the time, I've never seen anybody make a good GUI tool using PowerShell scripting. So I was like, instead of using WinForms, I pulled in XAML and then did run spaces along with it. And it's, I would say, revolutionary for the time because not very many people were doing it. Hell, now you just got a bunch of different projects now doing it. You have like WinHance, you have, I think, Win11 Debloater. A lot of them took kind of what the framework of what I did and then ran with it, which is cool. Oh yeah, Win10 script, man. That was the original. Yeah, we can just cancel this. I think it launches twice, though. Once as user, once as system. Next Linux stream. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Kind of want to do like a Homelab stream coming up soon. I kind of want to get back into Homelab in a bit more. Oh, man. For self-hosting, Cloudflare Tunnel, Tailscale, or just a classic reverse proxy? Oh, man. I'm kind of old school. I like to do a traditional VPN. So neither. Yeah. Tal, so usually well, if you're exposing it to the outside world, or are you just looking for local access? I don't know what it is about Tailscale. I understand, fantastic company, super cool tech. They do stuff, just black magic with NAT, a network address translation. They are great. However, I just don't like using them. To me, it is too convenient. It's something that's like, oh, I just don't trust it. You know what I'm saying? So, I love Tailscale, don't get me wrong, but it's not something I would ever use in a business setting, just because I think there's just so much potential for abuse, and it's really hard to lock off a lot of the perms if you allow it in your setup. So for me, I would prefer to block almost all Tailscale requests, anything communicating with Tailscale. You could also say the same for zero tier. I like to see a port forwarded to a server, and then establish that link myself. And then if I need to shut down that tunnel, I know I could just close that port and then it would be gone. So, I don't know. Call me old-fashioned. Oh yeah, everyone's done Massgrave. If you've been on Windows for any extended period of time, you've done some digging. What about Tailscale and Teleport? Yeah, both. I'm just not a fan of. Yeah, and that's just, like I said, I've done this forever, and I just really like old school. Hey, port 1194 or whatever you're using, standard VPN setup. Get in. You can easily see the traffic. Everything's isolated to that port. I don't like the idea of meshing a lot of external traffic on 443, both in and out. And I don't know. It just doesn't jive with me. And it might be completely irrational, but that's just my thought process. This is fine. This is a good refactor, I guess. Gabby will probably go in and clean it up anyways. But the PS5 compatibility would be nice to have. I won't, since, yeah, it is mostly UI. You and I both, Gabby. I freaking hate UI too. That is a fair criticism. All right, let's switch back to main. Pull this down. All right, on to the next. Main reason for 433 is to block, to do ISP blockage. I guess you could do something like that for that type of thing. Every business line I've ever done, and I can only speak for me here in the States, and I've never set up a business line that ever blocked a VPN port, like 1194. I've never had an ISP block an VPN port. Not to say it hasn't happened here in the States, but it's so rare. The only ports I've seen ISPs actively block is like 25. You know, they don't want you doing mass mail from stuff. So, yeah. Massgrave's Microsoft approved? I think not. I'm pretty sure it's borderline illegal. Yeah, that's true. Some ISPs do block WinUtil. I've had that happen. I think it's not blocking WinUtil specifically. They block GitHub. Just GitHub and blanket GitHub. Even though we're pulling the releases directly from GitHub releases, so it's not even GitHub raw. I know India likes to block a lot of GitHub raw repos. Hey, pulling my pull requests. There we go. Add a game mode toggle to fix MPO overload on 25H2. Okay. Let's see. Do you think he's going to use a registry tweak? All right. I'm taking bets. I bet he throws it all in an Invoke script and makes it look gross. Oh, he didn't. All right. Wait. He did not. Huh. Well, hot damn. A clean PR by someone new. The Panak. Well, that's clean. Hot damn. I like it. Let's go. Yep. Yeah, my ISPs are a-holes here in India. Yeah. Robo, I've heard horror stories coming out of India with blockage, which I mean, this is just me being from the States, and I just didn't know how bad it was. But I really didn't think there was that much censorship in India. Completely wrong, obviously. I had no idea until I started having people from India go, hey, I can't use this. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Here, establish this VPN real fast. And they're like, yep, that worked. And I'm like, okay, that's a little big brothery. Hot damn. Oh no. LDSC IoT comes with recall enabled? No. Surely not. It does? Ugh. Oh, Microsoft, you stay classy. All right, come on. Keep going here. We're almost through these PRs. Shirley. Don't call me Shirley. All right. Let's see. Oh man, I was actually looking at my stream PC up top, and I think I ran WinUtil on it like a couple years ago, or maybe it was last year, one of the times, and I think I was doing some experimenting because for some odd reason I duplicated Chocolatey and WinGit installs, and I was like, oh crap. So all of yesterday I was sitting there cleaning out my stream PC of duplicate packages. Oh, it sucked. There's packages that have NA enabled in here too. For WinGit. Believe. Let's double check, but I'm pretty sure. There isn't a single package in WinUtil that doesn't have the WinGit ID. Really? I thought we did. I'm not calling you a liar. But I just want to double check. Well. You were not. You were in fact not lying. There is not. All right, great. Cool. Good stuff.
Well, to do the binds.
Fat Bastard, thank you for the tier 1, good sir. Gifted sub. Have you ever tried to catch someone try to PR something sus? Yeah, every once in a while there might be something weird. Not as many as you think, though. Trying to think of a bad PR that I've seen where it was something super sus. Probably the most sus thing I've seen isn't necessarily like someone trying to write like a malicious code directly into WinUtil, because it would be pretty obvious. Obviously, when you're going through line by line, you're gonna notice like, hey, why is this doing, a VPN establish or something crazy? Why is it installing Tailscale and trying? I mean, there's a lot of code that would go into doing like a backdoor style situation. So what people try and do, and not always this is the case, but this is where something can be sus, where they can do it at the time of the PR. So if I test it, it'll go through just fine. And what they'll do is they'll link an external script that they control in the PR. So they'll say, hey, in my repo, I did this fix and I'm just linking to it through WinUtil. And I've had this happen probably a dozen times in the past 6 years. And when I look at their code, I'm like, great, it's a function of like 20 lines. Why am I calling your script? Why isn't those 10 lines directly in WinUtil? Calling another script from a script is just kind of stupid. So, and there's sometimes where it does make sense. Like there's times where like I think oh no shut up would be a good example of calling an external utility and running it. But yeah, that's probably the most suspect thing I've seen is people trying to slip in, hey, make sure you run my script and link to your script. And I just always deny those PRs. Or if it's a good enough patch, a lot of times I'll just go to their script and I'll just copy it, check out their PR, and then commit the code directly and then just remove their script. I've done that a couple times too. So I'm like, hey, thanks for writing the code, but I'm not going to link to your script. So I just took all the code from your script and then just put it in mine. I've done that quite a few times as well.
Yeah, well.
Have you tried Emacs before? Oh man, Emacs, Tal. I love Emacs. Org mode, I think I would get addicted to, and I'd probably rewrite my entire OS around Emacs. So I'm scared. I'm just straight up scared to try Emacs because I feel like you would never see me again. Or I'd grow a beard, and then I would just be like, have you heard about Emacs? I'm doing this in Emacs today. I'm doing that in Emacs today. Did you know you can launch applications directly in Emacs? Did you know you can organize this in org mode? My entire operating system revolves around Emacs. I could see myself doing that. So I have purposely not tried Emacs. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to do that. As funny as that video would be, you would never see me again. I would just disappear from this earth because I think I would love it. Oh, double sound? Do I have double sound on? Oh. I'm starting a farm when you use Emacs. Here, I'll turn off the sound alerts on each one. So I'll hear the alert, but you won't have the double alerts. All right. Yes on alerts. Okay. I will turn that off. I have a weird question. Can you change the normal Windows 11 kernel to an LTS kernel like you can on Linux? Well, the kernel's not necessarily different between LTSC and the modern rolling, or whatever you want to call it for Windows. You can change the manifest and change the edition and then manually roll the updates. So you could change it without reinstalling. It gets a little messy. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but if you have, you're like, I don't want to reinstall again, you could do something like that. But not an actual switch. It would register as LTSC, but it wouldn't really be a true LTSC. I think if you're wanting that, you need a nuke and pave each time. Yeah, it's more like downgrade to LTSC because it's running an older version. Yeah, you want to reinstall. Like, that's the thing about Windows. Anytime you change a version, you want to pretty much just reinstall. Can you downgrade? Can you upgrade? Can you move different versions around? Technically, yes. Yes, there's stuff in the... Shoot, I think it's system... Shoot, probably... See if I can't remember where it's at. It's been a bit since the last time I got desperate enough to try it. Probably sys32. Is it a manifest in here? It might be under my locale. Not migration though. Yeah, there's a certain file. It's like two files. One's a XML file, and it can control a lot of the versioning and licensing with Windows, and you can actually change it directly. I cannot remember for the life of me where that's at. Might need to do it through PowerShell. Anyhow, I digress. I digress. Don't do that though. Just reinstall. Pulls registry keys for toggles. All right. Kind of, why is the PS underscore here? Is that how it was? No. Nah, that's not how it is it? So weird. Yeah, this is uppercase PS. Just little things. Oh, I can't. I could check it out and edit it. I don't care that much. That'll still work. But I was like, that should be uppercase. Yeah, this is better to use explicit in PowerShell. What's the count being used for? Why was there a count? Oh, for progress. Okay. On a toggle switch? That sounds like some vibe-coded shit if I've ever saw it. Okay. Yeah, looks good. Vibe engineered, yes. Fair enough. Oh, still cleaning up the old right debugs, man. So much to clear. I need to look up contributors after we're done here. I want to see how many lines Gabby's removed. What do you think? Ah. You switch GitHub accounts so it doesn't keep track? Ah, damn. I'd like to see how much you've cleaned up. It's a considerable amount, though. Considerable amount. Oh, I'm surprised you didn't do a dash not instead of the exclamation. So it's explicitly not undo. Slipping, man. I'm not AI. I miss stuff. Fair. Reset checkboxes. If checkbox not equal blank, debug checkboxes are blank. Oh, it's just all debug. Gotcha. Right, debug. Good. JSON and debug. Selected apps debug. Number tweaks and tweaks. And then under main, debug variable, get rid of. Oh, wow. Yeah, we had a lot of debug in the main. Lots and lots of debug. I don't think we ever really got debug working all that well. It's a good idea. But in practice, meh. Double approved. Hey, AI would add 20,000 lines. So true. All right, long path names. I actually want to talk about this one. I swear this is in the tool. I swear this is already there by default. Like, damn, it's not. It's only in the Win11 creator I do it. Son, really? Such a good tweak. I thought it was already there. Yeah, enable long paths. It's a tweak I do on almost every single system I install on Windows. I mean, that's why I added the Win11 creator, but still. I didn't realize it wasn't in the base defaults of Win11. Or WinUtil. I swear it was in WinUtil at one time. Yeah. Anyways, that's good. Oh, it has a conflict. So what? All right, let's open this up and conflict merge. I community noted you. Let's go resolve conflicts. What happened here? Oh. So we're going to accept game mode. Then we're going to also accept long pass. Gravy. Why does it want to... I just want to fix that. Well, let's just to stage 69 files, shall we? Nice. It's funny. All right. Oh no. Nope. Nope. All right, 1 second, guys. Just let's just do it over here. We're gonna just do it through the browser. Oh, it's not allowing it. Lame. Ah, damn. Not allowing. Well, that's okay. It's all right. We're gonna do it. Let's just rewind here. Yep. We're gonna just let's just discard all changes. Well, I mean, that does look quite scary. Yeah. Don't need any of that. All right. Let's just take that. We just want... Okay, just these two. I like that. Merge conflict. Game mode PR plus this one. Dude, I don't know what he did to this branch, but it's all kinds of fucked up. For real. Yeah, so I can't even sync it. Yeah. I don't know what he did. I think it's just so far behind main that I'm just like, I don't know. Let me try to refresh again. Let's try and check it out. I hate to dump it, but I could probably recreate the tweak in 2 seconds. Yeah. Can't even... Can we pull it? Yeah, already up to date. Not gonna allow me. And we're on the PR. Yeah, I don't know what he did. Weird. Yeah, PR is just too far out of date. And... Sorry about you, man. It's cool PR, though. Let's just manually add it. Yeah, I don't know what happened. All right, let's go tweaks. Game mode. Why is it a little bit off? Okay. Better. I'm not going to commit this direct, probably. Let's just create a new branch. I think it was Gerald. That was his name. I don't remember. Oh, no, this is create pull request. Yeah. Cancel. Let's call this add long paths. All right, now. publish that. Origin. Now we can create a pull request. It's going to be a new feature. And then we can actually look at it. You're going to play D2R again? Oh, man. I'm never going to stop playing D2R. D2R is amazing, dude. Yeah. All right, so basically I just grabbed his code, tossed it in here. Straight up easy PR. New feature. Let's let it lint. And it should be fine. Oh, Japard, I'm sorry, man. It's already done. You're at least on the commit message. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the PR, though. It was all kinds of jacked up, though. All right. I updated blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about it. Uh-oh. It's only the WinDev branch. If WinDev stops working, everyone can blame Gabby. I'm good with that. Good enough. All right. Add minimize button. Dude, how do we not have a minimize button? Bruh. Like, for real. PowerShell profile after this? Yeah. Let's take a look at the to-do list. And we'll decide. We're almost finished with all the PRs. All right. Squash and merge this guy. Did I approve it? Gotta approve it. We absolutely have to approve. Oh my goodness. All right. That's approved. Update our sponsors. Appreciate all the sponsors that keep this project alive, man. Who knew where it would go? I was just thinking today, I was eating breakfast. I was like, damn, it's been 6 years, been working on this open source project. Who would have thunk it would get as big as it's gotten? It's kind of crazy, man. Kind of crazy. Oh shoot! What happened? Oh, okay, we're still alive. I was like, uh-oh. I think I closed something I shouldn't have closed. Oh, what? All right, there we go. Oh yeah, we can look at issues too. First I'm gonna probably do a. Wait, what do we have? Oops. Go back. All right, issues. Ultimate power plan doesn't work. Really? Ah. I closed out the performance plan. Oops. Yeah. We need to do a pre-release. What else we have? Wait, which one was it? Shit. All right. Well, I was going to reopen this, but Gabby already deleted it. All right. Good enough. Did this fix the language issue? You just delete them too fast, Gabby. I'll just wait for you to recreate it. Oh, yeah. Gabby always closing PRs. Oh, well, at least I wasn't working on this one. All right, we'll get there. Already talked about that one. Win creator breaking WIM metadata. What? What happened here? We have had this happen for some people, where it said you could not verify a product key. Interesting. Professional, yeah, super easy. Maybe it's on international installs. Let's grab that. Maybe it's something with the tool that they're using, like the DISM version. What could cause that? Huh. Yeah. It's a weird one. It's so inconsistent. That's always the hardest problems to track down. The ones where you can't replicate each time. Let's see what the LLM gods give us. It happens to you, and it is freaking in US. So it's using US, but for some odd reason it happens to you, and I can't replicate it. Yeah, don't worry. AI will fix it. No worries. We got either Jippity or Claude on the case. My buddy Claude. You never know. All right. He's going to inspect it. Oops. Before we do this, let's switch back to main, shall we? Yeah. All right, great. I was like, oops, let me go ahead and switch the branch back. We don't want any shenanigans going on. All right, the findings. This is not a DSM failure or WIM corruption. The field showing undefined in Git image folder are WIM metadata fields, not the live offline OS state. The undefined values you saw, okay, blah, blah, blah. Some modern Microsoft UUP built images leave parts of the metadata unset, so DISM shows undefined even when the image is valid. Your mount-based checks prove the addition of languages. Okay. That's fine. Doesn't cause the specific behavior, but the behavior could still exist, which would cause the problems to happen. Modify WinUtil script. WinUtil ISO to fill in any empty metadata fields that are missing with modern Win11 ISOs. Here we go. Boom. We'll fix it. In about 1,000 lines or less. Maybe. Maybe in 1,000 lines or less. Oh, that would be hilarious. Only 2,000 lines. Only 2,000. Yeah, I would hope it's 5 or 10 lines, but let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's just a missing metadata that hasn't been imported. Oh, I like the terminology here. I'm applying the best effort metadata hydration step. I'm gonna add that to my vocabulary. I'm gonna hydrate some stuff. I'm gonna rehydrate it. I'm gonna do best effort metadata hydration. Gonna give it the H2O treatment. Inside the ISO modify run space, it will detect undefined DISM fields, derive addition language for mounting the image, write what can be written back in the WIM metadata, and log what remains unsupported. I've added the hydration pass and hooked it up to the extensive existing workflow right after the single edition export. Next, I'll run a quick error check on the file and then summarize exactly what it can and cannot fill. I'm syncing the same issue into the bundled WinUtil. No, stop right now. No, you're not. No, you idiot. Do not modify WinUtil.ps1. You're doing so well. We just need... This is auto-created with compile.ps1. Wait, what are you doing now? Yeah, okay. That's fine. All right. Bring that back down. Bring it back down. Oh my god. Just do your thing. Just go. Okay. Any runtime update can come from compiler. Okay, fine. Let's look what was changed. How close do you think it'll get us? All right, so we're grabbing a new function called DISM info map. Grabbing that, We're also getting a new function called get WIM offline details. Why is it filling in English for all this? Huh. All right. Now, WinUtil WIM metadata hydration. Yeah, it does love English. Yeah, I know. I think it's fine for this, but it's not going to affect the actual image. Or at least it shouldn't. Although the /, yeah. Yeah, let's see what happens. Let's clean this up too. Okay, it does not conflict with multilingual images. What English does, it forces DSM console output messages to English on the host. It does not change WIM contents, image language packs, locale, or edition metadata. It is mainly useful when your script parses DSM text output because keys stay consistent. Okay, cool. All right, clean up added code to be more concise and make no mistakes. All right, here we go. Learning German. Hey, better than Mandarin. All right, chopped off 60 lines of code. Let's see what we got here. All right, refactor complete. Down to 200 lines of code. Well, yeah, the nesting still looks kind of nasty. All right, we're going to remove the ampersand invocations and reduce the nesting from try catch. Well, that added lines of code, but whatever. If it looks better. Just want it more readable. Okay. So we added these functions. And the functions, so it calls the WinUtil WIM metadata hydration here. And if you go up to here, this gets added. Does it call the get DISM info map? It does right here. So no unused code. All right, fine. Well, let's compile this and we got to do a test. Son of a blah. Blah, blah, blah. God, I hate doing tests. Wait. Let's do new branch. Fix missing DSM metadata. All right, great. Yeah, I'll make a pre-release, Gabby. I'm just trying to see if we can't get this pushed out real fast to fix our ISO. Oh, shoot. 1 second. Why is this launching in light mode? Yeah. Nope, it wasn't AI. No, it was the minimize script. Let's take a peek at that. I should have looked at it a little bit more. We'll throw it into our metadata script, though. I bet this will be fine. Let's go. Damn it. Test before merging. I know. Fine. All right. Well, I actually did read the code for the minimize. I just missed it. Before I started the stream, I already saw the code. It's a pretty minimal code, and I don't know why. And this is why I hate the UI. I hate working on the UI. Like, when you look at it, I don't see where this would have screwed up the full theme, right? Like, look at it. It looks fine. Right? Do you see a spot where this could have affected the light mode? It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, push to prod. That's how we. This is why I actually put in the dev branch or pre-releases, because I have a tendency to do this type of thing, and then we would catch it before it hit the stable branch. In theory. No, 111 should be working just fine. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so AI said it didn't detect anything with light mode with that branch. This is obviously dark theme, so it should be fine. Let's just go. Did you do a PR where you changed it? Oh, Gabby. You didn't. No way. Worked on my machine. That is the best developer response ever. It worked on my machine. I don't know what you're talking about. That's too funny. All right, what pull request was this? But why would this change it? No, this couldn't have changed the light dark mode. Nah. The toggles detect light, theme, or dark. I don't think this would do it. Yeah. Let's see. Ah, okay. Startup applies theme before tweak toggles are initialized. Auto mode adds at line 132 in WinUtil theme changes. The checker returns false whenever the theme switch reg is not set. Okay. Okay, patch this. So it wants to patch directly on tweaks.json. That's not right. No, do not patch from tweaks.json. This is a dynamic value that is user dependent. This PR is the culprit for the light theme now defaulting. All right. Yeah, so the changes in the toggle does look like it did it. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Gabby, it was your PR. It removed this function parameter. Okay. Patch it. All right, let's see what it bloated up. All right, so we're adding the parameters back to get WinUtil. It likes camel casing. Didn't like you not doing camel casing. Camel casing is superior. Get good, scrub. Let's see what else we got. It's not that bad, actually. All right. All right, so let's do a compile run. Dark mode. Boom. All right, good. That's done. Now let's test our ISO. 25H2. Let's just mount and verify and do a quick run through of this. It was bloat, but whatever. Well, you didn't know. That's okay. Shit happens, man. We're not all perfect. Even AI has proven that. And all the stupid things it wanted to do. It's like, well, let's just hard code it into the tweaks.json file. I'm like, no, that's stupid. Okay, that's a thank you for the suggestion, but no, that's dumb. Let's just do this. We'll fix it, and then you're not allowed to touch it anymore. Can we not just remove the light theme? Yeah, no doubt. By the way, I will say your old code looks like Grok 1 made it. Oh, shots fired. Yeah, probably accurate, though. Probably accurate, though. A lot of it was like... when you look at like my old code from Win10 script, oh my god. Because when I was scripting in my profession... Here, let's just pull up my old... Why that's jamming away. It's super boring. Let's go Win10 script. This is where WinUtil was born from. And this is before any of that. Let's go Win10 debloat. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. So this is pre-AI. So you can't blame Grok, Jippity, whatever. This was from... last time was 4 years ago, so this has been 2022 is the last commit. So this is actually has been polished a little bit. I know. And you might be thinking, well, how does it still look like ass? Well, simply put, we had Stack Overflow. Sit down, young ones. Before the era of AI, we had Stack Overflow. And while this looks like Grok 1 slop, Stack Overflow, what we like to do in that is usually you just take a bunch of code from Stack Overflow, paste it into one thing, and then you just kind of chop it up as you need. You make your own Frankenstein project. Essentially, where this block came from, I can tell you I did not write. That's definitely a copy-paste from like a solve one. So I got that. I think this is for just the elevation. To admin. Rest of this is fine. Wait, what? Where's the... 1 second. Let's go back. All right. Here's the old script. I was like, that's not that script. All right. So this is just a Stack Overflow paste for sure. This is fine. It's just something I threw together. This was, we're trying to find ways to install WinGit. Back in this era would have been 20H2, I think. Maybe 1807 or 1803. Era. Then for WinForms, how I was updating WinForms, because I've never been good with GUI. As most people have commented, GUI sucks. I get it. So what I was doing was, you'll notice everything has absolute values. I mean, this is just so you can see what this project was. Dude, we gotta run it. I bet it still runs. But we can go back in time here. Let's go back in time. Yeah. Yes. Oh my god. The Windows Toolbox by Chris Titus. This was what the WinUtil was born from. So everything was WinForms, Light UI, and I had like little links so you could click on this to watch my videos. I had everything on just one page. And aligning all these things were just awful. You might be thinking, Titus, what happens if you're on like a 800 pixel monitor? Everything gets chopped off and you're screwed. There's not even a scroll bar. What if you're on like a 4K monitor? Well, get your magnifying glass out because you ain't clicking on anything. Yeah, man. So everything was absolute values. Everything was on one page. So you had your tweaks here. You had your basic installs here of things that I just installed a whole bunch. And yeah, this was the polished version after 2 years of development. And I was still learning the ropes with GitHub, so a lot of this was just, most of the code was mine. Most of it was just commits I did. There's a few PRs, but very, very few. And I didn't even understand proper techniques for approving and merging PRs or even making PRs of myself, much less issues and other things. So I was still kind of wrapping my head around Git. I understood Git from a commit standpoint and reverting back when I screwed things up, and I loved that aspect of it. So that was the main reason why I used GitHub. But this is what everyone wanted, because the initial script didn't even have a GUI. It was just straight PS1 CLI. It was great. It was great, though. So anyways, when I was making that, I obviously, with a lot of this code, like the GUI icon and all of this, redoing and modifying these values to compile and put to a PS1 file would be an absolute pain. But there was a WinForm tool, GUI tool, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was hilarious. What was it? They probably went defunct. Nobody pays for this anymore. I paid like $5 a month for it though, because it would do absolute value WinForms. Oh, damn. It'd been around forever, and it's all I knew at the time. Because all I needed was basic GUI tools. Because I never really used GUI at work. Because I was the only one that would look at the code, so I just did it all through CLI. Man. It's all gone. It got replaced. It probably went defunct. But there was this website I paid $5 for, and you could align it all in their little web GUI, and then it would spit out the code. And that's what I used to design the GUI. Oh, it was atrocious. So that's what made all this code. And then all the other code below it was just really, really basic. Yeah. So great. Click the link. All right. What do we got? Oh, yes. The first WinUtil. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. So this was Stack Overflow at its finest, too. I was trying to pull in, and I didn't understand XAML at all. So I was just like, screw it. Let's toss it up. And I believe this is pre-run spaces, too. Yeah. Let's run this one. All right. It does look like the DISM cleaned up and it exported properly. Let's see if it mounts after it's done. I'll probably just say the ISO and then we'll test it over here too. But in the interim, oh, that's all. Here, we'll just add another tab. So this was the first iter. Oh my God, yes. Oh, yeah, buddy. Yeah. So this was 2022. 2023, probably? I don't know. Oh, I hadn't even finished the config or the updates panel yet. I was just doing the scaffolding for this. And I remember coming into this version. Oh, man. Yeah. That was good. This is better than the current UI. Damn. Well, this was all me, too. That's funny, though. Really? You think it's better? Yeah, the giant CTT logo takes up 20% of the screen. Oh no, from the last one. Yeah. It was a good addition to it, but I obviously needed help. because I had no design sense whatsoever. Still don't, if we're being honest. A lot of this stuff is like, man, this looks so amazing. Where people look at it and go, bro, you need to like hire somebody to make this look pretty. But I'm kind of like, it's functional. It's fine. Oh, yeah, the Orange UI days. That was right as Conti was... that was one of the first Conti commits. That would have been era 2023, I want to say. I still need to go back and try. Conti moved on and he moved to Linux. And he's in charge. I think he made his own distro called Simple OS. I still need to try that out. I think I had problems making the ISOs when he did his first couple releases. All right, well, I'm not going to reinstall Windows with this thing. We're just going to mount it. That should be enough to tell us, hey, what's the structure look like? We got the unattended. Yeah. That's fine. Five gigs, 5.5. All right, that looks good. Yeah. Yep. Well, gravy, guys. That looks great. Let's, we'll stage this change first. We'll call this one fix product key invalid and missing metadata on some ISOs. Commit. And then for this one, fix Gabby's broken light mode PR. Commit. That's true. Oh, I hate this UI. Oh, Blue got us something. We got to look at Blues. All right, what do we got? You're my boy, Blue. What do we got? Oh, yeah. So this would have been... This is 2024 era. Dude, I need to do a video just highlighting where this has gone over the years. All right, 2024 era WinUtil PR. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, this is the Conti GUI. With the super bright lights, the orange and black. Ooh. Oh, man. Yeah. That was something. Dude, it even cuts off right here on the glow. God, that is hideous. That is truly hideous. Whoa. I think at the time I was like, man, this is crazy. Look, you can have effects with a XAML built GUI tool from PowerShell. And I think I was just over the moon that that's a thing. So I was just like, anyways, it was pretty funny. Yeah, add code names for each UI change. I think I'll make a... I gotta go back through and do that. Oh, so cool, though. All right, let's finish with this PR and get this dev branch out. All right, let's go. Bug fix. PR resolves. We got 4443. All right. 443. Description. Some modern Windows 11 ISOs. Generally multi-language. Have missing metadata from Microsoft. This patch fills in the missing metadata so you no longer get invalid product key messages. So we'll do that bug fix. And side note, this fixes light mode from what was that? 4497 from Gabby toggle cleanup. All right, cool. Anything else? 2020 code name is Honey. All right, cool. Let's go. So we got that. Gravy. Merge. Squash and merge. Let's go. All right, cool. All right, let's go pre-release. Delete branch. And that closes that out. Probably need to reopen that and test out those power plans to get rid of the language issues people were having. And we could probably actually close this one out. Every time I do, I just need to, I got tired of signing the Windows utility PS1 files. So I need to get back. I miss the days where I could just do code signing without a hardware key, and then I could bake it into a GitHub secret, and then I could just have it auto sign the files so people would know it's from me. That was the glory days, but can't do that anymore. Everything requires a hardware key now. I mean, they don't even do basic code signing. Now, I don't even know the difference between basic code signing and extended validation. They're one and the same pretty much now. Anyways. Let's do us a pre-release and then we'll test it. Was there anything wrong with the last pre-release? We can move that to stable branch. All right, we got our changes, features, gravy, gravy. I've been updating some dev docs, by the way. All right, 4:30, 5:12. That was last week. We'll go ahead and move this to stable branch. I don't think anybody had any problems with this one. All right, we'll update it. So we got that, and pre-release 519. Quite a bit of bug fixes here. Let's test it. Hey, we get to test out your Let's go ahead and test out WinDev. Gabby changed this too. Does it work? Hey, it does. I'm not surprised. All right, there we go. 519. So we got the dev branch out, so people can try that. We'll probably merge that as the stable sometime next week. Give everything time to marinate. This looks great. We're working clean over here. Fantastic. Oh, man. Oh, Posh GUI. That's what it was, Alan. Yes. This was the one. Alan in chat. Sorry, I missed your chat earlier. This was what I was paying for. Is it still $5 a month? It's $7 now. Oh my God. How does anybody pay for this crap? Dude. Yes. I remember using this. Yeah. I think the era of paying for software is over, which is kind of nice. Like, you can just create whatever you want. I think the only thing I haven't been able to create myself has been like Photoshop. But I'm trying to think of other stuff that I used to pay for that I no longer do. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. Like every time I'm like, ooh, right now what I'm working on is, and I know people are laughing at me because of what I think GPT launched some BS about doing finances. Like, who's going to sync up their bank to GPT? That's just stupid. Why would you ever feed that into an LLM? However, developing a new piece of software, because like QuickBooks, I don't know if anybody's ever dealt with finance, but QuickBooks, Sage, Accounting Suite, SAP, whatever it is. Any business does it. There's online versions of it. They're all complete crap, man. And I was like, I'm just going to make my own. So I think I'm going to just completely make my own QuickBooks. Call it Titus Books. And I'm just going to open source it once I'm finished with it. And I'm just going to do all the finances myself because I really don't like it. I tried like GNU Cash and some other FOSS-based finance stuff. And I was just like, nah, this ain't it. Is what I want is to export like CSV files from financial, like my bank and other things and other transactions that happen, pull all those in, and then just say, hey, don't duplicate anything, and just take from this time frame. I just need this physical year, and then just grab all that, put the starting balance, and then just tell me my profit, loss, and expenses. That's all I want. And I think that's pretty easy to do. That's a pretty simple program in my eyes. And I'm just so sick of paying any kind of monthly fee for that type of stuff. So I think I'll do that, and then I'll probably just open source it at the end when I'm finished with it and just say, hey, I don't want to sync with actual financial institutions. So I'll probably just do, hey, here's how you export from certain banks and get these files. Like, yeah, I think there's like Quicken files and other stuff. Is Quicken still a thing? I don't even know. But I'll find that and then decipher that. Have you seen YBAB? What's that? Bad at money? YNAB can help. Well, yeah, most of them are like, how much is it? Like $20 a month or something? Yeah, $10 a month if you pay $100 annually. I mean, that's cool, but I think it's just the era of paying for something like this. Man, I think you can just create all your own now. Like, I think I can just roll my own. Yeah. I don't want to hook it up to AI. I just want my own piece of software that just does it all. Like, I want to have all my data home locally. All software locally. And then not have to pay anybody anything per month. Except for my internet bill. Obviously, you still got utility bills. But I want minimal monthly recurring charges. So almost everything. I think you can do that. Just seems like not a good idea. Hey, people like, I remember balancing a checkbook. And that's how you learn money. So like people thinking like it needs to be auto done for you or fed through in a machine or some fancy accounting software. I'm here to tell you, I've done shit tons of migrations for multiple businesses over the years, dozens and dozens, probably 100+ businesses at this point. And I'm going to tell you, every single piece of software has massive migration issues, and there's a lot of manual tuning that happens behind the scenes. It's not freaking magic, okay? Just because you pay your monthly fee to QuickBooks or whatever, it's not going to just do it for you. It may make it a little easier to import some of the data, but you still have to be there error checking and understanding, you know, those over-unders and expenses and how that should look on a sheet at the end of the year when you do your taxes. But I just have always hated all financial software. Like, there's never been software that I'm like, wow, this is great. I've always like, oh God, I don't want to deal with them. And now that I'm doing my own thing, well, for the most part, I still have my main day job, but still, I don't want to. I'm just like, no. Yeah, you can do it on spreadsheets, but I kind of want like exports, because there's certain reports that need to be run on a monthly to understand where you're at. So you can't just do it at the end of the year using spreadsheets, because you need to understand like your tax allowances. And then I don't want to get too much in the weeds here, but every quarter you have to make IRS payments to like, hey, this is how much money I'm making. I need to make sure I make those payments every quarter, because if you don't, you'll get penalized for not making the quarterly payment. So if you wait till the end of the year to pay your taxes, you actually get taxed more, because then they say you should have paid as you were making the money, and then you get penalties on top of it. You know, unless you're like a billionaire and you know how to skirt all that with like shell accounts, which it's a little bit behind me. So anywho, yeah, just me blabbing on about finance, but still. Oh, is the main branch not working? No. Really? How long was that PR done? I thought that we just merged that today. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. Stable branch is fine. Yeah. I was like, no, I think we merged that today, so we're good. We don't need to do any rush stable branch. Anyhow. Do you document your Linux? If yes, what do you do? What's your workflow for that? Right now I'm just using DWM. I probably should document a little bit better, but if you're interested, you can always go DWM Titus, and you can see kind of my my layout here. Here, I'll link it in chat for everybody. So if you want to check out my specific DWM config and how I do it, there's also an install file that kind of shows you all the dependencies. I tried to track down all the dependencies so you could just do a fresh install on Arch. Any Arch Linux based distro, you could install this and then just launch directly into it. I do need to revamp this probably to use LightDM, which I did. Yeah, no, we're good. Yeah, it uses LightDM by default, but you could use SDDM and other stuff with it. We need Debian Ubuntu support. Yeah, I know, Dan. I had it for a bit, and then I just couldn't. I didn't keep up with it. So, you know. What else was it? I was thinking. So got that. Oh, the security review. Actually, I had a PR come in WinUtil, and it was an exploit that I talked about at the start of the stream. Never did get to that. If we go to pull requests, let's go to closed. Dude, almost 2,000 pull requests done on WinUtil. Bruh. All right. Where are you at? There it is. So I actually use Copilot a little bit for this one. So if something happens. But essentially, if you look at the workflow here, credit to Nathaniel Sanchez, security consultant for Colkin. whoever these people out here. Anyways, they contacted me. They're like, hey, we found a bug. And I was like, all right, is it another one of those little fancy schmancy ones or some no nonsense one? But essentially what it did was I had a label command so contributors could do like label and open and close certain things and help me maintain WinUtil, which is great. But there's a problem with this specific GitHub action. It's issued whenever someone on the approved list would issue like a close or a label command. It's kind of cool. And it makes it a lot easier. That's how we got, like, at one time when it's just me doing the closes and issues and labels, we were at hundreds of issues open. So you can see going through here, where's the issue list? Here, let's just go to the old file. Let's just expand all lines. And in the old file, you should see an approved list in here. But what ends up happening is in the GitHub environment, it pulls in the GitHub token to issue these commands. As long as, and even Gabby did a PR on this not too long ago, but it does pull in the secrets GitHub token for this repo. Yeah. So there was an alert list where Gabby did the vulnerability. When was that? Like last month, Gabby? Because anybody could type stuff in and then it would run this GitHub action if they weren't on the allow list. So the allow list was there, but it wasn't necessarily being enforced. So then this guy contacted me like, hey, that's still true, but you could actually extract this out using a vulnerability. I think I even pasted in here. So the GitHub user login and bodies were interpolated directly with the run shell steps, ending arbitrary command execution by any issue commenter. The allow check ran after vulnerability steps, providing no protection. So what ended up happening was people could still issue commands, and there was a way to exploit the GitHub action through the API to get the GitHub token, and then you could technically do commits directly to the branch if you were able to properly exploit it. But needless to say, I did try, and meh, it's cool. I think, let's see, I think my context explains a little bit better. Yeah, I only fixed the close. So anyways, this takes everything and puts it all in one so you can't extract out the GitHub token anymore. Like, it would be pretty hard to issue and execute this exploit, but it's still a vulnerability. So the proof of concept was comment the following on any open issue. You could label it with a curl. So it would issue, the label would trigger in the comment. You would say /label and then a quote and then a colon, and then you'd curl the exfil or the token of the GitHub to and spit out the environment variable to your server. So the attacker would host their own server to capture this GitHub token, and it would echo it out. I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, wow, I didn't realize you could do that in a GitHub comment. But it makes sense because the GitHub comments were being read by the workflow, and just issuing the -label was enough to send this out. So command injection, big shout out to them. I thought this is super, super cool. A way to kind of hack somebody. So if someone was reading comments and they were triggering the workflow off of every run, you could do it. And essentially what I did was I was like, hey, is this a thing? Could you actually do this? And tested it, and I was like, oh shit. yeah, that's an exploit. Okay. So, yeah, I had no idea. How's Git going? I moved to Forjo. Let me see. Do I have a login? I thought I did this. Did I? I did. Okay. Yeah. So I moved to Forjo. GitHub token is used for API calls. So you could use a GitHub token to do commits, pull requests, issues, close things out. You can use a lot with it depends on what perms that token has. Now, the permissions of that token, I think I did lock them down a little bit, so it wouldn't have been like the end of the world, but at the same time, we don't want that to happen. So, still an exploit. But typically with GitHub, anytime you create a token, you would use a finely tuned token, but there's still legacy tokens that exist that give you full access to everything. So, be careful. I always use fine-tuned tokens just in case I lose the token, or God forbid my computer gets hacked and someone grabs my token. They're only going to have access to either specific repos or have like read prims for like permissions. Like I think I had to feed it into where is it? Octobot. So for Octobot, I think I had it here. Right here. So yeah, I don't ever use legacy tokens, but I think I use like an API to pull this in. There was also like I used to have an old GitHub notifications thing to where, let's just go here and archive these. But I used to have an old GitHub like notification on my desktop to show whatever the latest was. And that was using a read-only, finely tuned perm to just grab that data. But I always finely tuned the token just in case like that server, I lost control of it or someone hacked it and then read all the tokens out of it. Whatever would have happened, I would be like, okay, well that sucks. And then you can reject the token at any time. But usually you just want to always use finely tuned ones. Let's close these. Clear up some of my GitHub notifications while I'm here. So anyways, I thought that was a kind of a cool thing meant to talk about. Yeah, so I did go back and forth between Git and Forjo. I like Forjo a lot better. I think the setup is a little bit harder, not that much, but a little bit, and it was pretty cool. What else we have? Oh crap, I got to record. We got to do a GitHub YouTube video. I've been meaning to do more YouTube videos on the live streams as I'm trying to get back to doing 2 videos a week. So we need to do that video. Yes. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I have it local. Favorites. Favorites. Wait, what? No. What is happening? Bruh, broke it. Yeah, Git wasn't bad for me. I just liked Forjo a little bit better. I'm Prime Light, okay? I'm Prime Titus. I got my yoga ball now. We're doing all the things. Although Theo does go on to like 40-minute things, this is not going to be that. It's going to be maybe a 5-minute video. I don't do the 50-minute deep dive. Yes. Oh, shoot. Come on. No. Come on, man. I think it's my highlight plugin keeps killing this. Shots fired. Prime Light because you don't code and just prompt AI and look at PRs. Probably not wrong. All right. Right here. There it'd be. Oh. Wait, what? No! Why'd you do that to me? Come on. Don't. Okay. Okay. We're good. Yes. So there's a falling out between Microsoft vice president, ex-former vice president, and some of the higher ups at Microsoft with Copilot. Oh, okay. What did you guys have? You guys always say I don't even read chat. A way to get Win11 Enterprise, Massgrave. It's one way. Oh, man, if it was up to you guys, I would just sit here and stare at chat and just respond to you the entire time. Where's your Elgato teleprompter? Right there. It's right there. So when I'm looking at chat, that's how you guys know I'm actually reading chat. Kind of genius, right? That's the only thing I use my teleprompter for. Some of my chats are there, but you don't read it. Huh. Well, I'm a bit dyslexic sometimes, so, you know, say lovey. Sometimes that's just how life is. They changed their name from Mango WC to Mango WM. It makes sense. I always wondered why it was WC. Okay. Let's do this one. I wanted to do this video real fast, just going over Copilot's failure. I'm just refreshing myself on this. Because there's some, like, really interesting facts in this article. I didn't realize how much money Microsoft was spending on Copilot, but it's pretty insane. All right. Anything else before I get started here, guys? I got to record this video before we get going. Nope. PowerShell profile. Why do I even bother? Why do I even bother? I don't know why I ask you guys. See, this is why I never read chat. Why I never read chat. All right, well, just to humor you. Fix uptime. All right, what do we have? Yeah. All right. Cool. There's one PR down. Fix OneDrive document problem. Wonder what the old code showed. Let's look. Home documents PowerShell. Yeah. So does home I'd be kind of curious. Documents sometimes gets redirected because of OneDrive, I take it. All right. Yep. What's the plus H on the file attributions here? What's that do? Hidden? Hides the file? Yeah. That's what I thought. Nice. There we go. Gabby? Don't say I never did nothing for you. All right, all right. YouTube video now. Let's go. Let's go. All right, here we go. I know. I tease. I appreciate you, Gabby. Disable alerts. I don't know. Should we? Should we just play it by ear? I feel like, all right, I'll hide the alerts. I made a button now to hide alerts. How cool is that? We can donate to miss your video. All right. All right, let's not look so tired. Let's get this thing gone and done. All right, let's start recording. And 3, 2, 1. Microsoft's Copilot is a giant failure. How big of a failure might surprise many people. I was looking through this, and there was actually a little bit of a back and forth between an ex-Microsoft VP and the current guard at Microsoft. It's pretty funny. They had a little bit of a Twitter falling out, if you will. But he was a 4-year technical advisor to Microsoft's CEO, which I think it just got replaced as well, but Matt Valesso. And now he's also been a lead AI developer for Google DeepMind, and is now, I think, currently working at Meta. Man, he gets around, doesn't he? Dang. So he basically says, hey, Microsoft missed the AI wave. And many people, if you're not familiar, Microsoft heavily invested in OpenAI, and OpenAI was using, or is using, a lot of the Azure infrastructure Microsoft built out. And they've had kind of a close relationship as Microsoft's also been building out Copilot, which is independent from GPT. But according to this guy, Copilot, I don't even know if anybody knew that you could pay for Copilot, but apparently you can. And 3% of people are actually doing that. Now, me personally, I've actually been getting Copilot free through GitHub because of WinUtil. It's got over 50,000 stars on GitHub, and they essentially hand it out so you can try it out. And they're pretty generous with it, but occasionally I'll go over my limit, and I think I usually get charged $1 or $2. I think the highest month I ever did when I was just going crazy was like $30 or something, but for the most part, I don't pay anything for the service. But there are people out there that actually launch the Copilot app that is all plastered all over Windows, which I've always just removed the button, and they actually pay for it. And that's 3% of the current Copilot users. So for that low of an adoption rate, they are spending $37.5 billion every quarter on AI. That's insane. That is essentially them paying $140 billion a year for Copilot. So not only do you hate Copilot, but Microsoft pays $140 billion a year so you can hate Copilot and all the integration in Windows. Damn, that is just ridiculous. Absolutely crazy. Probably the biggest thing from this article too that I just have to say is GitHub's reliability. Their service level agreement has dropped below 90%. Now, back in the day, I've signed many contracts throughout my career where we had SLAs with internet providers, and those internet providers had like a 99.9 SLA agreement. So that means if it dropped below that 99.9, you would get actually money in the mail essentially, because they would be defaulting on that agreement and they would have to pay or reimburse us for the downtime. So the fact GitHub's below 90% is probably the worst I've ever seen from any major platform since Microsoft's taken it over. So I don't know what they're doing. I think they're trying to implement a bunch of Copilot features, but having used Copilot, I gotta say, most times it just falls on its face. A lot of times I've tried like Copilot reviews and pull requests, but these days, whenever I'm talking to any of the contributors on any of the repos I run, when I run a Copilot review, it's more of a joke than an actual review. So usually I do it just to kind of make fun of somebody or just to see what it says. But most times it doesn't actually yield anything useful. So not only does the downtime be extensive, but it's for really no good cause that I can see. So this gets us to our little Twitter beef here between the old VP and the current Frank Shaw of the lead communications executive of Microsoft. And they kind of going back and forth where Matt was essentially like, looks like Microsoft just went from hitting refresh to hitting factory reset. Sick burn. To which Frank Shaw, currently working at Microsoft, which I think he's been there for many, many decades at this point, but defended and said negative framing and normal for corporate retirements for a lot of the people leaving Microsoft. But all Lesio went back and he shot back and forth, which is kind of funny seeing, you know, all these C-suite executives kind of fight each other. It would be great to see him like a death match kind of thing, but I digress. All he had to do was point out the harsh financial realities between Microsoft and Google. Or Google, I mean, it's not really that fair because Google still dominates search and other things, and Microsoft is trying to do more. They still have a huge foothold with patents and data centers, but like Windows is kind of on the downswing, and many other things in Microsoft, it's kind of gone downhill, and they've missed a lot of the shots that they've taken over the past 10, 15 years. But they kind of go back and forth. I suppose the whole market was also wrong about this, Valesio fired back. But what do I know? I only saw both companies, how they operate, their strengths and their flaws. Microsoft missed the internet wave, the mobile wave, and now the AI wave. And it's what happens when you keep doing the same thing expecting different results. And I mean, that's pretty harsh, but also true. I think Microsoft, I always think back to old Steve Jobs quote where a lot of these big companies, they just get so large that marketing people take over. And that's essentially what's happened to Microsoft. You could even say to a lesser extent over on Apple, a lot of the marketing people took over. Tim Cook, he didn't really do much to innovate. He just refined and made Apple more profitable. So he's a good bean counter. We'll see what the new CEO does over there, but that's a whole different story. But I thought this was kind of interesting, where Google always kind of innovates. They're still innovating. But I don't know. Google's weird because it feels like they just throw everything at the wall, see what sticks, and then whatever does stick, they typically still go up and go, nah, I hated you anyways, and slaps it off and goes, let's start over again. I can't tell you how many times Google has like just completely thrown a project out the window. But he even goes further and says like, hey, stop gaslighting, deflecting blame, bearing skeletons, and just accept what's going on so you can actually fix the problems. I honestly think Microsoft's just too big to actually fix anything. Like the whole cutting out Yeah. Like the whole, when it comes to Microsoft fixing Windows, a lot of the news over the last couple months is, hey, we were listening to our customers finally, and we're going to fix the problems with Windows. And I don't think they have enough talent left at Microsoft to actually fix Windows properly. So I think they can do some things to kind of lead it in a better direction, but to actually fix it is not really there. So I don't think they can actually factory reset. But he even goes further here, where he talks about like OpenAI and Microsoft and that partnership, where OpenAI is trying to cut Microsoft out essentially by using their own data centers, building up their own infrastructure so they don't have to use Microsoft's infrastructure, because a lot of the partnership they have is a lot of that shared compute between the two companies, so they can keep doing that. So I'd be curious to see where this goes. I honestly think OpenAI is going to go bankrupt before they get there. Because most people, OpenAI doesn't have almost any revenue, where Microsoft has tons of revenue. It's still a very profitable company, where OpenAI isn't profitable at all. They're just really good at establishing and getting a bunch of debt and backers, and also the U.S. government backing it. So we'll see what that goes. But whole different rant. But for people saying Microsoft's dead, it even kind of goes into the moat being unbreakable. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this part of the article, because when I look at it, they say, hey, everybody uses Windows. And I think there's a huge shift in a lot of the market. When you look at the adoption of Mac and Linux, they've really gone up a lot over the past 2 years. You see Microsoft on this downswing, and it's going to finally hit some kind of point where more and more people drop off. Most of that lost market share is going directly to Apple and all of its ecosystem, where some of it, probably about 10% of that probably gets filtered off into Linux as well. But I think there's just going to be a trend that continues on, and Microsoft will slowly lose that death grip it has, because right now it has Office that really leading the charge, where people stay on it. Adobe products are all on it, and I think Adobe, we'll see what happens with them, but I could see Adobe moving to and actually adding a Linux product line. I know that'd be absolutely unfathomable, but if they did, I think they'd pick up some money, and if there's enough users over there, they probably could do it. And then the only thing keeping people on Windows would be Office and some games, some competitive games. And that would be the big thing that has that moat unbreakable. I'm not sure. I think I'm starting to see some leakage from that moat, and I don't know. I think it's going to dry up eventually. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I think it'll be 5-10 years before we see any kind of a substantial impact, but it's just a slow whittling away of Microsoft here. And Microsoft as a company, I don't think will ever disappear per se, like we have modern day IBM and Xerox. They're both still around. They were juggernauts back in the 70s, way bigger than anything we know today. But I look at where they ended up, and I could totally see Microsoft shifting into that, relying on their patents, relying on their infrastructure, relying on all the contacts they've made over the past decades, but being at the forefront of all the users. I think time's changing, and I think that's gonna happen slowly over the next couple years to even a decade or more. But I think we'll slowly see that kind of go down. Copilot, I think they're just gonna finally give up, remove it, move on. They said, hey, they added movable taskbar and start menu like 5 years after they released Windows 11, where Windows 10 already had that. And I'm just like, if this is the features that you're touting that actually users want, it's just adding old features that you removed. So anyways, that's the state of Microsoft and their massive Copilot failure. And seeing this funny back and forth between these two executives. What a mess. But is Copilot a failure? Nah, absolutely. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, we'll see if that actually makes a video or not. Hey, hello YouTube. Thanks for the super chat there, Blue. Oh, I left the music on? Ah, shit. Well, where were you guys there? Where were you guys there? Okay, I actually turned that back on, so we should be fine. Of course you told me, and then I left it on. Oh, that's too great. Oh, wait. Was there 2 channels? Let me see. Shiitake mushrooms. Well, yeah. There was 2 channels. Oh, man, that's unfortunate. There's actually 3 channels. But I never set it back up after I redid my audio. It's like, God. So I had 2, 3, 4. Well, it's set up now. Yeah, since I just redid my audio, I normally would have that split out in channels, but yeah. Yeah, I just literally had my mixer die, my PreSonus mixer, and when I added the new ones, it reset all my channels. Oh well. Classic. Oh well, what is that? That'd be like the 100th video I've ever re-recorded. I wasn't a huge fan of that recording anyways. I'm not sure if I like recording on stream or not. I feel like, I don't know if it adds anything to the stream itself. I get why people do it, but I don't know. If there's no interaction with chat, it kind of just is lame. But it does sync up some stuff. Get Copilot to remove the music. It would leave the music and then it would just be sitting here blabbing to silence. Oh, it'd be hilarious. Anyhow, yeah. But at least you get a little sneak peek of that video. I'll probably workshop it a little more and feed it back in and redo it. Yeah. I'll record off stream. I'm not going to re-record it on stream, that's for sure. No, it's not that serious, guys. That was like, what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Psh. No, thank you. I'm good. Oh, let's see. Hey, you got DWM on there? Oh, man. Gabby, are you using Linux yet? I can't remember. I mean, I hope you never use Linux. Oh, crap. He's already started the switch. I can't tell you how many contributors I've lost on WinUtil because they finally make the switch completely off of Windows. And then they just stop contributing to Windows utility because they no longer use it. I think, oh, geez, we had, God, I think Coding Wonders, I think still uses Windows a lot, but not as much. I think he's starting to switch. And then, oh, man, my Drift user I know switched. Conti switched. Yeah, there's been at least 5 or 6 like major contributors of the past that just was like, screw it, I'm going to Linux. Ah, good. People switch to Linux because they can't fix Windows. I can. Oh, that's a hot I like that hot take. I could see that, but nah, I don't know. To me, it's easier to fix Windows than it is to switch to Linux. What do we got? What do we think, chat? Is, to me, for me personally, but of course I've used Windows for a long, long time, it's easier to fix Windows than it was to switch to Linux. I would agree with that statement. That would be my statement. But I was still far worth it for me to switch to Linux. I've enjoyed it a lot more. I've enjoyed computing in Linux a lot more than my usage of Windows. And I could always fix Windows, but never, I don't know, I didn't enjoy it where I enjoy using Linux. So that's why I switched. But do people switch to Linux because they can't fix Windows? We got to do a video. Or not a video, but we got to do a poll. I think a poll is what we need. All right. Let's do a straw poll. We'll just poll YouTube and... Oh, dang, I'm not logged in. All right, let's log in. All right, 1 second. So, let's go. Did you switch to Linux because Windows is too hard to fix? Yes. No. I'm on Windows. Create poll. I'm kind of curious what this looks like. Here, I'm going to put it in chat. Because to me, I would say not very many people would be like that. But, I don't know. Yeah, I think a lot of people dual boot. I mean, technically, I dual boot. Even still, I mean, there's occasionally something I might need from Windows. Yeah. But for me, I think the catalyst to me actually giving Linux a shot, I would say it like this. I think the catalyst, here we'll come back to the poll. The catalyst for me giving Linux a shot was 2018, which is hilarious. I mean, I definitely would be on Linux if I didn't switch in 2018. But in 2018, Windows 10 pushed out 1803, I think it was. And I really hated 1803. I thought I could see the writing on the wall. I was like, this was a trash update. They removed all the things. They bloated up Windows 10. And it was just awful. Because I was like, I think at the time I was running like maybe 30 processes on 1709. And going to 1803, it was just a terrible update. Hell, that was the update where they deleted some people's documents folder. So not only did they bloat it up, but they also really screwed up the update cycles, where I knew how to control the updates, but it was still enough for me to go, this just sucks. On my personal computer, I really don't want to be doing this and managing updates. So I was just like, screw it. I'm moving to Linux. And that was the catalyst for me, was Windows 10 1803 was definitively the version of Windows where I was just like, I can fix this, but I really hate being on it, and I no longer like the operating system. And that was enough for me to go to Linux. But I went back and forth a lot. And I would say that the thing that got me back coming to Linux was the fact I could customize it to any way I wanted it. I could customize and change anything. Holy crap. Well, that was some thunder. Anyways, yeah. That was the big thing that I really kept me coming back after kind of not necessarily leaving Windows, but trying Linux. Yeah. I just like the customizability of it, but yeah. My main PCs both have Windows and Linux on them. I mainly boot into Linux, but Windows is there in case I need it. And if it's not like my monster here in the studio where I have PCI pass-through and I can just launch into Windows anytime, just boom, have it up. So when I'm not on my big beast out here, my main PC doesn't have 2 GPUs, and I essentially just do dual boot. 2 PCIe NVMe drives, and that works good. So if I do need Windows, I'll dual boot, but it's probably been, I'd say 2 or 3 months since I booted into the Windows partition. I hate doing the Windows partition in there because it seems like every time I boot into it, it erases the EFI entry and I have to recreate the EFI entry. So I almost don't want to ever boot into Windows. Even though I know how to recreate it and it takes like 5 minutes, if that. I just don't like doing it. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, the sky is angry. It is pouring outside. Whew. No, I'm running inside. In this one, I like 1080p for live streams and just capturing in general. On my inside PC, just 1440. 1440p is kind of my my jam. Anyways, the final result of the Linux one, did you switch to Linux because Windows is too hard to fix? 50 people said no, 21 people said still on Windows, and then 13 said yes. So I think a better way to phrase it is, I think Windows is just annoying, and it's what gets people to try Linux. If Windows didn't suck as bad as it does, and you had to make it suck less, people would never try Linux. They'd just be like, my Windows works, it's fine, it gets out of my way, and I'm able to just log in. If they just removed all the roadblocks, I think Linux would not, nobody would really use it, or very, very few people would probably use it. But because of how shitty Microsoft is, it gets people to try it. Or to try Mac. I would say Mac probably sees a huge influx of users just from people getting tired of Windows and they just want something to work and be reliable. And Mac is much more reliable than Windows is. So I could see that too. You know. How do you recreate the Windows UEFI entry? Yeah, you could recreate the Windows boot partition, but you shouldn't really ever delete your UEFI Windows entry. Linux won't ever do that. It's just Microsoft that deletes the Linux one from time to time. Yeah, I think that's the big thing. It's just Windows just gets annoying. For me, it wasn't fixing Windows. For me, it was super annoying. And I was just like, this sucks. I shouldn't have to do all this to make the operating system usable. Well, when I say usable, I want it to work clean. I want it to be fast. I don't want any pop-ups. I don't want anything. I just want to use it, do my business, and then get out. And to me, Windows just is not that anymore. It's gone. They lost all their talent. It's just, that's the thing. People don't realize most of the companies just C-suite executives and marketing people, lobbyists, those types of things. That's who works at Microsoft. They don't have talented engineers anymore, or very few talented engineers. If they do have them, they fired most of them, and they've had so much turnover. I just don't see them being able to produce a good product. Yeah, and I think that's the thing is, Yeah, the marketers in the C-suite just destroyed it. There's just nobody that has the vision to make it good. And I think that's just, you can see it in the headlines and everything that they're doing. I mean, they're just so anti-consumer. I couldn't imagine someone using Windows that doesn't absolutely need it for like their work or their business or a specific game or a specific product that they want that's Windows only. That's the people that are using Windows, are the people that are trapped. Everyone else has pretty much moved on or are in the process of moving on. I just don't see... I can't tell you the last time I ran into a Windows user that was excited to use Windows. Windows users don't identify as Windows users. Windows users identify as, I have to use this shit because that's all that I can do to play this game or to use this software. Nobody uses Windows and like, I love Windows, it's great. That user doesn't exist anymore. And believe it or not, they did exist 10, 15 years ago. I mean, it's just one bad design decision after another. Excited, yeah. There were some people that were excited to use Windows, for sure. I'm excited to use Windows. I'm exited to use Windows. Oh, excited. Okay. I don't know. That was a Freudian slip there, Gabby. I think he's had to taste the Linux. It's just a matter of time before he converts. And then I'll have to find another contributor to the WinUtil. But I mean, I did. Like, I enjoyed using Windows 15 years ago. It was not bad, and I enjoyed it. Okay, so we got this, got to re-record that. Headless Mac server. We're not going to get to that today. It's just too gone. Today is gone. I'm going to go run out in the rain, get struck by lightning. I need to go run. I'm going to go David Goggins this, guys. All right. Well, thank you all for jumping in today. That'll be a fun one. We'll see what we're doing on Thursday. I might have some fun stuff. I think we might do some home lab stuff on Thursday. We'll see how it goes, where the day takes us. But appreciate everybody stopping by. We will see what happens. And I'll re-record that video. Probably. I don't know. I don't even know if it was worth re-recording. Might just not be. Anyhow, later on.